Okay, hello everyone. Good afternoon. In accordance with the memo that was being released, we're going to have an asynchronous class for this week. That's why I'm recording my discussion and I am going to put this one in our Google Classroom. So before we start that, I just want to say na please bear with the background noises kasi kay mukalit tingog ang manok na pa gabi kay and dili na ko sila kontrolado. So please bear with those noises. But anyway, let's start our discussion. For this afternoon, we're going to tackle or delve into another piece, which is entitled A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen. Okay, for learning objectives, at the end of the lesson, students will be able to describe the piece's historical background and the author's background through interactive discussion. Develop a deeper emotional connection with the piece through a reflective essay, and demonstrate understanding of a doll's house by answering a short quiz. I know, class, that you are all positive that you can achieve these learning objectives. Kamu pa, class? Okay, so let's start with the historical background. Okay, during 19th century Europe, in both North America and Europe in the 19th century, women and men were expected to fill separate spheres of society. Men were expected to live a public life, whether it was working in a factory or socializing with like-minded men in public places like clubs, meetings, or bars. On the other hand, women were usually expected to live their lives largely homebound, taking care of the cooking, cleaning, and child rearing. So we can really see the difference, no? Where during that 19th century, specifically in Norway class, which is the origin of our piece that we're going to delve this afternoon, ang mga men were they are free. They can move freely. Makatrabaho sila sa gawas, makasocialize sila sa gawas, makadung sila bisan asa nga lugar. However, ang mga women kay naara sila sa balay. They had limited rights. Even ang pagskwela class, limited kaayo. Wala sila right to education. Nara sila sa balay. Like, sunod-sunuran sila sa ilahang bana. So in short, ang mga girls during 19th century kay under sa ilang mga bana. Yes, so they feel separate spheres of society. Ang mga laki, free sila nga maka lakaw-lakaw sa gawas, makatrabaho sa gawas, maka-take of education. However, ang girls, homebounder na sila. They are in charge of the cooking, cleaning, and rearing of children. That was during the 19th century in Norway. Okay, so next, marriage and family structures in 19th century. Marriage in 19th century Norway was governed by strict societal norms and legal structures that favored male authority. Husbands were seen as the heads of household responsible for their family's financial well-being and decision making. Wives were expected to be obedient, managing the household and raising children while remaining financially and socially dependent on their husband. Okay, so just like what I've said earlier, dependent ra ang mga girls sa ilahang bana, which is dili sala sa mga girls ha, nga dependent sila because they had limited rights man. So unsa ilang mahimo mo na status sa mga girls during 19th century. So wala sila choice kundi maging dependent sa ilahang mga bana. Kay ilahang mga bana sila responsible for family's financial because sila ra may pwede magtrabaho. Ang mga girls kay naara man inside their homes. Sila mag-alaga sa mga bata, sila mag lihok sa balay, sila manghinlo sa balay. So, in terms of financial class, dependent jud sila sa mga ilhang mga bana. Kay ang mga boys ra may pwede magtrabaho compared sa mga girls nga naara homebound ra. So meaning naara sila sa balay. So that was the status of men, I mean of women in the 19th centuries in 19th century in Norway, not just in Norway class, but also in North America and the whole Europe. Okay, so next we will proceed to the author of our piece. So we have here Henrik Johan Ibsen, born on 20 born on March 20, 1828 and died on May 1906, was a major 19th century Norwegian playwright, theater director, and poet. He is often referred to as the father of realism and is one of the founders of modernism in the theater. So, what is realism, class? The father of realism. Okay, so from the word itself, no real. So, ug unsay nahitabo during that time, mo na i-portray sa ilahang mga play or sa ilahang piece na gamon. So, si Ibsen, he is referred as the father of realism. Okay, so next. And one of his famous play is Cunning Adele's House. So introduction. Adele's House is a three-act play in prose by the playwright Henrik Ibsen. It premiered at the Royal Theatre in Copenhagen, Denmark on December 21, 1879 as Ed Dukehem. So, ang tawag pa sa Adele's House in sa Norway class, sa Denmark class, katong gi-publish siya is first published as It Dukehem. Is a seminal work in the realm of theatrical literature. Set in a middle-class Norwegian household, Adele's House follows the story of Nora Helmer, a seemingly naive and submissive wife who undergoes a dramatic transformation as she confronts the realities of her subjugation within her marriage. So this Adele's House class, actually, class, UNESCO inscribed Ibsen's autograph manuscript of Adele's House on the Memory of the World Register in 2001 in recognition of their historical value. So, grabe ingani kasikat, no? Kay sa man, ilahang gi-inscribe, ilahang sa man, gi-keep dito sa Memory of the World Register ang katong autograph sa manuscript ani nga katong autograph sa manuscript ani nga The Adele's House ani nga play nga naay autograph ni sa author si Ibsen nilang gi-keep dito sa Memory of the World Register. So that is for recognition of their historical values. So Adele's House, this play unfolds over three acts. So each act, it reveals deeper layers of Nora's entrapment and her growing awareness of her circumstances. Okay, so but before we proceed to the three acts, we will get to know more about the characters of this play. So Nora Helmer, a wife of Thorvald, mother of three children. Thorvald Helmer, Nora's husband, a newly promoted banker. Dr. Rank, rich family friend who is secretly in love with Nora. Christine Lindy, Nora's old school friend. Nils Krogstad, employee at Thorvald's bank, long lost lover of Christine. Ivar, Bobby, and Emmy, the children of Helmers. Anne Marie, Nora's old nanny who cares for the children. Helen, Helmer's maid, and the porter delivered a Christmas tree to the Helmer's household. Okay, so let's delve into the three acts of the play. Okay, so the act one is Thorvald's pet names for Nora. Nora Helmer returns home on Christmas Eve, excited about her shopping. Her husband, Thorvald, playfully scolds her for spending too much and calls her pet names like Little Squirrel. Actually, class, dili lang Little Squirrel ang pet name niya. Napay Little Skylark and naapa putong uban. So he is about to get a promotion. So Nora feels she can spend more freely. So since si Torvald kay na-promote siya, so naka-feel si Nora nga ma-free na siya. She can be, she can more freely kay ma-busy na si iyang bana, which is si Torvald. Kristen Lindy, an old friend of Nora, visits seeking a job, revealing she feels empty after her husband's death. Nora shares a secret. She illegally borrowed money to fund Torvald's recovery in Italy, forging her father's signature. So si Kristen Lindy katong friend ni Nora gibisita siya. So kani si Kristen Lindy kay married na siya, however iyang husband kay namatay. So widow na siya. So wala na siya trabaho. That's why he asked for a favor to Nora if si Torvald kay makatag niya og trabaho. And after that kay si Nora, iyang gi-share iyang secret, which is katong she illegally borrowed money to fund Torvald's recovery in Italy, forging her father's signature. So ni-borrow siya og money and then iyang gi-forge ang signature sa iyang papa. Nganong iyang manggibuhat to class? It is because during the 19th century, during that time, ang mga bae, dili pwede mo borrow og money. That's why iyang gi-forge iyang signature sa iyang papa para makaborrow siya og money to fund Torvald's recovery. So grabe kaayo ang limited nga rights no sa ato ang mga girls during that 19th century. Even ang pagpahuwam ang huwam og kwarta dili pwede kay ang need nga mo sign ang mga boys. So ang boys rin na ay right nga manghuwam. However, ang mga girls kay wala. So that's why iyang gi-forge iyang signature sa iyang papa. So, Krogstad, a bank employee, meets with Torvald, after which Dr. Ranks call him morally deceased. Nora asks Torvald to help Christine get a job, and he agrees. Later, Krogstad threatens to expose Nora's forgery if she doesn't persuade Torvald to keep him employed. Nora begs Torvald, but he refuses, condemning Krogstad as a criminal who corrupts his children. Nora is left in fear of being exposed. So si Krogstad kay ikuan na bitaw siya class padung na siya tanggalon kumbaga sa kanang sa ihang trabaho. Tanggalon siya ni Torvald just because guess what? Tanggalon siya kag gitawag daw siya ni Krogstad sa iyahang first name. So dili siya ganahan di ay tawagon sa iyahang first name. So tanggalon na siya. However, kani si Krogstad kay nakaibaw man siya sa secret ni Nora. So iyang gi-threaten si Nora nga na iyang i-expose ang iyang forgery katong iyang illegally borrowed money katong iyang gi-forge ang signature sa iyang papa. Iyang gi-threaten si Nora nga iyang itug-an ni Torvald, which is si Torvald kay iyang gi kadak-an ba ya iyang reputation. So iyang kuan iyang reputation. So nahadlok si Nora. So she begs Torvald na ibalik o dili na lang tanggalon si Krogstad sa iyahang trabaho. However, si Torvald dili jud siya magpapugong na iyahang tanggalon si Krogstad. So Nora is left in fear of being exposed. So nahadlok si Nora nga masaktan siya nga ma-expose siya nga ingadto iyahang ibuhat nakabuhat siya illegal. Okay, so next ay di ay class. So ani palang class mo sa akwan palang class sa pagtawag pa lang ni Torvald ni Nora og mga pet names mura ihang infantasize si Nora, meaning iyahang bata si Nora, which is dapat dili niya i-treat as bata. Treating her as a plaything, iyang gi-treat siya og kanang plaything ra bitaw class rather than an equal partner. So with that, makasense na tanong kung nganong Adele's House ang title ani na play. Okay, so next we move on to the Act 2 or the Tarantella scene. Nora is preparing for a costume party wearing a Neapolitan dress. Christine arrives to help fix it. Turvald comes home and Nora begs him again not to fire Krogstad, fearing he will ruin Turvald's reputation. Turvald dismisses her concerns, saying he dislikes Krogstad's familiar attitude as she calls him by his first name. Dr. Rank visits, revealing he is terminally ill with spinal tuberculosis and confesses his love for Nora. Shocked, Nora brushes off his feelings, insisting she only loves him as a friend. So after the costume party, no, Christine arrives to help Nora mend para ma-fix ang iyahang dress. Turvald comes home and Nora begs him again not to fire Krogstad. Lagi kay nahadlok siya kay githreaten man siya ni Krogstad na iyahang tugan ang gibuhat nga illegal ni Nora. So but si Torvald, dili jud siya kay iyaha laging i-fired si Krogstad kay lagi iyaha siyang gitawag siya sa iyang first name. First name basis is dili pwede kang Torvald. And then Dr. Young's visit revealing he is terminally ill with spinal tuberculosis and confessed her love for Nora. So kani si Dr. Rank, ilahang family friend ni confess nga naa siya'y sakit spinal tuberculosis. Ang iyang i-confess ang iyang love for Nora nga ni angay di ay siyang Nora. But na-shock si Nora, but Nora brushes off his feelings. Kay iyang pagtanaw ni Dr. Rank kay friend ragyod as a friend ragyod. So after being fired, Krogstad returns, saying he no longer cares about Nora's debt. Instead, he blackmails Nora, demanding a promotion rather than just his job back. He then drops a letter exposing her forgery into Torvald's locked mailbox. Connect, Nora turns to Christine for help in persuading Krogstad. To delay Torvald from reading the letter, Nora distracts him by asking for his help the tarantella dance, pretending to be anxious about her performance. Once alone, she considers suicide, believing it could save Torvald from disgrace and prevent him from sacrificing his honor for her. After being fired, after nga na-fired si Krogstad, nibalik na po siya and iyang ingon nga he no longer cares about Nora's death. Wala na siya pakialam sa death. However, yang gi-blackmail gihapon si Nora, nagdemand na siya now og promotion rather than nga mabalik iyahang trabaho. So, he then drops a letter exposing her forgery into Turvald's lockbox. So, nagbutang siya letter sa sa mailbox adto ilahang Turvald. Ito sa Helmer's house. And then panic, Nora turns to Christine for help in persuading Krogstad. So nga nung si Christine man iyahang gipangayuan og help. It is because I know class. Mahibaw-an nato sa Act 3. So to delay Turvald from reading the letter, para madelay ang pagbasa ni Turvald sa letter ni Krogstad katong ihanggi expose ang forgery ni Nora, Nora distracts him by asking for his help with the tarantella dance, pretending to be anxious about her performance. Once alone, she considers suicide. Nora considers suicide believing it could save Torvald from disgrace and prevent him from sacrificing his honor for him. So bisan og ngatong situation no nga na trap si Nora sa household nila ning Torvald, iya gyapon ginahuna si Torvald ang iyang reputation since si Torvald kay iya hapong gihuna-huna iya gipadak-an iyahang unsa man class iyahang reputation. So instead of kanang Una-una ni Nora ihang pagalingon, iyang ginahuna si Torvald gihapon para ma-save daw niya si Torvald from disgrace and prevent him from sacrificing his honor for her. So, ani na, second act class, Nora's performance of the Tarantella dance under Torvald's direction. It is a vivid portrayal of her entrapment. Despite her apparent freedom of movements, yes, makamove siya, she's dancing to please, but she is dancing to please her husband and maintain the illusion of her domestic rule. So kanina scene pa lang na nagsayaw siya sa Tarantella dance to please her husband. It symbolizes the superficiality of her freedom within the dollhouse. So meaning, na-trap gyapon siya. Nagsayaw siya, yes, na siya movement. However, kato nga movement nga pagsayaw niya kay para gyapon ma-please iyahang husband. So again, limited ra gyapon ang freedom niya. Yes, the movement is, yes, makamove siya. However, kato nga dance gyapon class, dili for herself. It is to please her husband. Okay, so nasabtan. Okay, so next, last act, Act 3, Nora's departure. Kristen visits Krogstad to plead for Nora, but their conversation takes a turn when she reveals they were once lovers. She admits she only married her husband for financial stability, but now as a widow, she wants to be with Krogstad again. Moved, Krogstad reconsiders, but Christine insists Thorvald must learn the truth. Okay. Christine visits to Krogstad for to plead for Nora, but their conversation takes turn when she reveals they were once a lovers. Di ba nakatano ko gari na klase sa akto nga nganong si Christine man ang ipangayon og tabang ni Nora. It is because tong about pag-threaten ni Krogstad niya. It is because si Krogstad and si Christine kay they were once lovers. So maybe makatabang si Christine nga iyahang i-please si Krogstad nga dili na lang ikuan to nga letter para dili siya i-reveal ba sa iyahang nabuhat nga illegal doing. So she admits she only married her husband for financial stability. So si Christine iyang gi-admit na 'di ba nagbuwag sila ni Krogstad. So she admits that she only married her husband for financial stability. However, but now nga namatay na yung husband, na widow na siya, she wants to be with Krogstad again. So ganun siya pagbalikan ni Krogstad kay wala naman iyahang bana. So si Krogstad iyang reconsider. But si Christine na pud ang ni-insist nga si Thorvald must learn the truth about the forgery of Nora. So after the costume party, Thorvald reads Krogstad's letter and erupts in anger. So after mabasa ni Thorvald ang letter ni Krogstad, he erupts in anger, calling Nora unfit to raise their children and deciding to keep their marriage for appearances. So iyang gitawag si Nora og dili daw unfit si Nora to raise their children and nakadecide siya nga i-keep lang ilahang marriage for appearances or for show na lang ilahang marriage. So wala na igugma no, so for show na lang ilahang marriage para dili maguba ihapon ay ihang reputation. So however, when another letter arrives stating that Krogstad has forgiven the debt, Thorvald instantly forgives Nora, acting as if nothing happened. So nanapoy another letter nga niabot gihatod sa ilahang maid, which is kato si Helen, stating that gipasaylo na ni I mean it stated there that Krogstad has forgiven the debts of Nora. So that's why si Thorvald iyahang pasaylo si Nora as if nothing happened. So iyang gipasaylo as if nga walay nahitabo nga katong iyang giingon nga unfit daw si Nora to raise their children and then katong ilang marriage na i-keep lang for show lang. So murag wala ra iyang ipasayloy nga na realizing that Thorvald only care about his reputation, not her. So Nora decides to leave. So si Nora finally naka-realize na siya sa kadugay nga kung ano, karon pa siya naka-realize nga si Thorvald iyahang gi-care is ang iyahang reputation. However, wala wala gi-care ni Thorvald ang iyahang wife which is si Nora. So that's why naka-decide siya nga biyaan niya iyahang bana. So she rejects his pleas to stay, stating she must discover herself. She leaves behind her keys and wedding rings and walks out, slamming the door, leaving Thorvald devastated. So nag-please si Thorvald na mo stay si Nora. However, si Nora kaganhay niya ma-discover iyang own self finally. So she leaves behind her iyang gibilin ang mga keys and wedding rings and ni walk out siya iyang slam ang door sa paglakaw niya and then si Thorvald tuad dito devastated. So unsa man, what lesson man inyo makuhaan ni na nga story? No? Okay, so kanina final act class, where Nora decides to walk out is a symbolic breaking free from the confines of her constructed rule, representing a quest for, excuse me, for self-identity and autonomy. So this act of defiance dismantles the facade of the dollhouse and challenges the foundations of her marriage and societal expectations. So kato ihang paglakaw, ihang pag-live, ihang paghawa sa ihang bana, nagasimbol siya og breaking free para sa iyang kagalingon. Nga makita niya ang iyang self-worth, self-identity, at ang iyang autonomy. Eh, di ba? Sunod-sunuran ra kay siya ni Thorvald, wala siya right nga mo supak ni Thorvald, but at that time ni Europe na siya nga itugan gali siya class na nasa iyang mind nga magpakamatay siya, mag suicide siya, but si kanang Thorvald murag wala ra siya ipaki. So didto siya murag kato may didto siya na trigger. Didto siya na trigger nga mulakaw na lang nga iyang biyaan iyang banag iyang mga anak to uh, find her self-identity and her autonomy. Kay wala man siya gi-love or gi-care ni Thorvald kay si Thorvald iyang gi-care kay only his reputation raman. So maybe makaingon ta nga maayo ra pud nga ni hawa siya, no? But napay siguro at the side of our mind makaingon ta nga luoy ang mga bata nga gibiyaan, right? So yeah, that's it. Okay, so that was the piece or the play. Okay. Next, you have here character analysis. Okay, so character analysis. Nora is a representation of oppressed women. Nora embodies the struggles of many women in the 19th century, trapped in rules that limited their personal and social freedoms. So, di ba, no? Nora is a representation of oppressed women. Yes, that during that time, di ba, the women, they had limited rights. They are trapped in their homes. Dili sila pwede makipag-socialize, walay a right to education, walay right nga makatrabaho sa gawas. So si Nora mo naga-represent sa mga women during the 19th century, during that time. Okay, so next, Thorvald is a symbol of patriarchal authority. Thorvald exemplifies the patriarchal authority that dominates the social and domestic spheres. His condescending and paternalistic treatment of Nora reveals that deeply ingrained gender hierarchies of the time. So si Thorvald Helmer, he exemplifies a patriarchal authority that dominates the social and domestic spheres. So his condescending and paternalistic treatment of Nora reveals the deeply ingrained gender hierarchies of that time. Thorvald's insistence on control and his perception of Nora as a childlike dependent rather than an equal partner highlight the power imbalances that define their relationships. Kay di ba iyang tawagon si Nora ang mga pet name like katong Little Squirrel, Little Skylark, mag-iyang gibata-bata si Nora instead of treating her as an equal partner. Diba? So iyang gibata-bata. So next, secondary characters. The secondary characters in Adult's House also play crucial roles in reinforcing or challenging the place gender dynamic. So secondary characters such as Kristen Lindy and C. Krogstad provides contrasting perspectives on the roles and opportunities available to women and men. So Christine's independence and pragmatism challenge traditional notions of dependency, while Krogstad's desperation and manipulation reflects the pressures of social expectations on men. So, naaday po yung social expectations on nagpakita. It also shows the I class the pressures of social expectations on men katong represent ni Krogstad katong yung desperation and manipulation, di ba? Yang threaten si Nora. It is because na pressure pud siya sa social expectation nga lagi katong men kay sila magtrabaho. So meaning dapat naa sila trabaho para maka-provide sila. So uh that symbolizes Krogstad. It's desperation, no? Na pressure siya sa social expectations. Okay, so next, we have here questions. Is the significance of Nora's decision to leave Thorvald and her children? So, in man class, sa may kanang significance sa ihang decision. Okay, so Nora's decision to leave Thorvald and her children in Adolf's house shows her desire for independence and self-discovery as she realizes she has been living like a doll in her own home without true freedom or identity. Kaya yes, sunod-sunuran ra siya ni Thorvald. So, she is aiming for her independence and for her self worth. Yeah. Next, what are key themes explored in Adult's House? So dagan kay siyang mga themes, no? It includes gender rules, of course, katong uh, different spheres of the society, katong men also women nga lahi. Ang men, they have the freedom, while the women, nara sa balay, homebound ra sila. Okay. Also, the struggle for identity for Nora, di ba? Nagsunod-sunuran ra siya ni Thorvald. The limits of marriage, of course, kay married man silang duha, married man si uh, Thorvald and Nora. But dahil si Thorvald Ray murag patriarchal ba murag nasa sa top subordinate ra si Nora. And then the social expectations natong ang giingon about ni Krogstad na iba ang men kay they're expected to fulfill financially or sila may trabaho para makahatag sila or maka-fulfill sila financially. However, and also and of course self-discovery. Okay, next. How does Ibsen portray traditional gender roles of that time? How man? Okay, so Ibsen shows traditional gender roles by depicting men as powerful and controlling like Terval, and women as weak and dependent like Nora, who is treated like a child rather than an equal partner. So dili man siguro pud sala ni Nora class no nga dependent siya ni Terval because mga may status gud sa mga women during the 19th century nga ang mga laki. So if naapagid sila right nga if na sila freedom nga makatrabaho nga lang maging dependent pa man sa mga laki, di ba? So it's not her fault pod. They are just kanang they are or is just a victim during that time. Okay, so for your application instructions, read the statement carefully and identify being what is being asked. Okay, so you'll have to answer this one to five, and evaluation for your evaluation instructions. In 35 sentences, write your thoughts about the status of women in the patriarchal society. So that's for 10 points. There's your rubrics for that. And for your assignment class, please study all the lessons and pieces we discussed from If You Forget Me up to the Doll's House because we'll be having a face-to-face long quiz on Monday during our time. Diba every Monday kay online raman ta. However, in by next week sa Monday, di siya online face-to-face siya. Hi, we're going to have a long quiz. That's for preparation sa inyong finals, which is lagi pa man ang finals, pero mag-long quiz gihapon para maka-prepare po mo. Okay, that's it, class. Thank you so much and God bless everyone. Bye-bye.